Okay, today we're going to make what I used to call eggy bread. You might know it as Fisherman's toast. It's essentially just bread dipped in egg and then fried. I've got a nice loaf of sourdough here, a little bit stale, but that doesn't matter for what we're doing today, and some fresh eggs. I've got a special trick for how to make it super eggy bread. First off, let's just get a pan going on the heat. Okay, leave that to heat up and then we'll prepare our bread and eggs. Okay, so we're just going to cut a couple of nice thickish slices of this sourdough bread. Crack a couple of fresh eggs into the bowl. Now, here's how you can tell these are fresh eggs. You can see the white actually stands up a little bit around the yolk there. That means they're really nice fresh eggs. So we're just going to beat those a little bit. And this bit's optional, but I do like it this way. I'm just going to put a little splash of milk in there. It just helps the egg to loosen up a little bit and to be properly absorbed into the bread. That'll do. Right, okay. Tiny little bit of seasoning, I think. Just have a bit of salt in there. And a bit of black pepper. So my pan's nice and hot. Tiny little bit of oil in there. And let's get our slices of bread. So a slice of bread goes into the egg like this to soak it up. Now let's just turn that pan down a bit. Okay, and then into the pan, and we'll do the same with the other slice of bread. Into the pan. There we go. And so far I haven't done anything different from what everybody else does when they're making Fisherman's toast stroke eggy bread. However, this is my little trick. I don't think that bread is quite eggy enough. So I've got a turkey baster here, and I'm just going to suck up some of that egg and milk mix here and just ever so carefully add it on top of the bread now, and it will soak in and soak through. I have to do this a little bit at a time, or else it will just spill off the edges. But we're just, every time we see a little hole in the bread, we're just going to fill it up with egg. And it should be possible this way to use up both eggs completely and get it soaked into the bread, and the end result will be something quite different from what you normally get with Fisherman's toast. It will be a bit more like an omelette with bread incorporated into it. That bread is properly saturated with egg now, so I can turn that back up a little bit. And in a minute we'll flip it over. Okay, let's flip that over. Lovely. Now, we've got to cook this right the way through because it really is loaded with egg. I've got to turn the heat down and just give it a bit of a slower cook than you might normally do for this sort of food. And we can test how close that is to being done just by touching the top there. When we can feel the heat coming through from the bottom of the pan to the top and it actually becomes too hot to touch, that means it's going to be cooked through. Yeah, that's starting to get there. I would say that's nearly done now. Let's have a look at the underside. Yeah, that's crisping up nicely underneath that. Yeah, I think we're done. Okay, so let's get that out onto a plate. Turn off the heat, and then let's go and have a look and see what this is like. Okay, so look at that. Now, I happen to like a bit more pepper on this than most people. Fisherman's toast, of course, you can have it with sugar on it. It tastes a bit like donuts if you put sugar on it. But I'm going to have it today just with salt and pepper. Let's have a look and see what it's like when it's cooked this way. So when you cook it this way with the egg added in, it's a lot more substantial. That's really warming and hearty. Really nice. So there we go. That is my variation on Fisherman's toast, or as I like to call it, the Eggiest bread. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you again soon. I sometimes like this with just a little bit of ketchup. Please don't hate me for that. So what's your recipe for Fisherman's toast? Please feel free to add that in the comments. And if you like this or hated it, please thumb up or thumb down.